What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. So we're now seeing that Mayor of Washington, D.C. under fire, faced some serious trouble after she just openly admitted that she will do whatever it takes to stop President Trump from cleaning up her streets of D.C., ridding them of crime, following his announcement declaring a public safety emergency and deploying the troops in D.C. Guys, I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
So today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this moment. And I'll be making the appropriate notifications to Congress and to the mayor, our new DEA administrator, who's one of the top in the country. He better be Terry. If you're not, I'm going to get rid of you so fast. Terry Cole. Terry, thanks. Very good. We just got him. Most highly recommended person. And you'll be designated as the interim federal commissioner of the Metropolitan Police Department. Okay? And you run them tough. They're good. You have a lot of good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke.
President Trump earlier saying he's deploying the National Guard to the nation's capital and placing police under federal control now. Let's bring in D.C. Police Union Chairman Gregory Pemberton. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. So from your view, is this necessary?
Well, look, we completely agree with the president that crime in the District of Columbia is out of control and something needs to be done with it. We have to go back to how we got here, though. In 2020, the D.C. City Council passed an enormous amount of legislation that handcuffs police officers, exposes them to administrative, civil, and even criminal liability, even when they do their jobs properly. And now, 5 years later, our authorized sworn strength is 4,000 sworn police officers. We currently have 3,180. So we have more than 800 vacancies for the position of police officer, and the way the department makes up for that gap is through 2 million hours of mandatory overtime every year. So the fact that we need help from federal law enforcement and maybe even the National Guard, it shouldn't come as a surprise.
And that was President Trump announcing that he has declared a public safety emergency, deploying the troops in D.C. and also taking federal control over local authorities. And this is something that was clearly needed. There is a crime problem in Washington, D.C., yet the lefties are crying the exact opposite.
Yeah, and it doesn't escape me that he defended the January 6 rioters right there in Washington, D.C., and pardoned some of them. But Rena, on Friday night and throughout the weekend, the White House increased its federal law enforcement presence on the streets of D.C. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser first reacted to this on this network this morning. Take a listen.
We are not experiencing a crime spike. And one reason I wanted to be here today is to let people know that their nation's capital is among the most beautiful and best cities in the world. It's well run. We have excellent schools, the #1 park system. We have experienced rises in tourism compared to before the pandemic. So people are coming to our capital. They're starting business in our capital, and they're raising families in our capital. And any comparison to a war-torn country is hyperbolic and false.
So once again, we're seeing these loonies on the left clashing with President Trump's agenda, his policies, and this one just seems very clear why it's needed. Simple that he is cleaning up the streets of D.C., saying that our nation's capital should not be crime infested. I think this is one that we should all be able to agree on, but of course, since it's President Donald Trump, they can't get on board. And now we've got breaking news on that Mayor Bowser of D.C. said that she tried everything in her power to fight Trump's effort, but failed miserably. quickly. And this one being tweeted out by our friend RightScope here on X, saying, breaking. It has just been revealed that the DC Mayor Muriel Bowser has looked into all legal options she can take to prevent President Donald Trump's DC takeover, but she found no options and admitted that she cannot stop him. The mayor is now furious. It turns out everything Trump is doing is legal and constitutional. Does Trump have your full support, yes or no? And I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves. Of course, this is exactly what we voted for. Bringing back law and order. We can't continue to let these criminals take over our cities, especially not our nation's capital. I'm not sure what's going on with this mayor, but of course, the lefties are now screaming free DC in protest against President Donald Trump's latest move. I mean, protesting against the reduction of crime is a new low, even for the Dems.
We coming, and this is our city. Whose city? Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Free DC. 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 Protect home rule. 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 Protect.
So once again, the Dems are taking the wrong side, the 10% of every single situation. I mean, this is 90-10. Folks clearly see that there's a problem in DC. We're actually getting first-hand accounts from folks, actual residents of DC. I'm not sure if those protesters even live in DC or weren't bussed in based off the history we've seen with these Dems and protests. But check it out.
I almost feel a little desensitized to it in a way because it seems to be of the norm. It's actually pretty scary that these teenagers own guns and that they are in the neighborhood shooting.
There was a little first-hand account coming from actual residents of DC saying that crime has gotten out of control in their city. Actually got another account from Senator Tom Cotton saying that he warns all of his new staff members to travel in packs when going through DC.
A couple times a year when I do onboard briefings for my interns, I have to regrettably explain to them that it's a dangerous city and they need to be aware of their surroundings and probably travel with other people as well. So President Trump is right that we have to get crime under control. Washington, D.C. is not like any other city in the country. It is the federal city. It is our nation's capital. That's why our founding fathers gave the federal government exclusive control over this city. And President Trump, I think, is rightly going to use the National Guard, the FBI, the DEA, the Park Police, and other federal law enforcement to augment the D.C. police to get crime under control so it's once again safe for thousands of Arkansans and millions of Americans to come visit our nation's capital every year.
So not only do we have residents of D.C. saying that crime is out of control, we got accounts from Senator Tom Cotton saying that this thing is actually serious. Yet we have the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, still saying that this is all completely unnecessary from the Trump administration.
Has threatened. He's been making these threats since last year, and now he's carrying through with them. There's no reason to believe he won't go further. What do you say to the president about his threats to bring the military, not just the National Guard, but the military?
We don't, and I think I speak for all Americans, we don't believe it's legal to use the American military against American citizens on American soil. I'm not a lawyer, and but I think that's a fairly widely held fact. And so, but we've seen them move, I think, the active military into California. So it's a question. We've seen active military on the borders of DC some years ago, and we don't believe that our military should be used against American citizens. Yes, I've said before, and I'll repeat that I believe that the president's view of DC is shaped by his COVID era experience during his first term. And it is true that those were more challenging times related to some issues. It is also true that we experienced a crime spike post-COVID, but we worked quickly to put laws in place and tactics that got violent offenders off our streets and gave our police officers more tools, which is why we have seen a huge decrease in crime because of those efforts. We have been able to reverse that 2023 crime spike. John Donnelly. Yes, please identify yourself.
Mayor Bowser, Campbell Robertson with the New York Times. Do you think this was inevitable, or do you think there are things that the city could have done or the city council would to prevent this mistake from coming?
This is I don't know. I can't answer that question, and I think that's a question that you're familiar with the rhetoric about the city and how long it goes back, and we also know that we're not experiencing a spike in crime, but a decrease in crime.
And that was Mayor Muriel Bowser's take on crime in D.C. She's saying, folks, don't believe your eyes and ears. Crime is on the decline in Washington, D.C., actually at a 30-year low. But the truth of the matter is that they've actually been rigging the stats. Yes, I found a clip. I actually found a whole article on it saying that they've been reducing charges to make it seem like crime is low. Crime is going down in D.C. Give it a look.
I think Mayor Bowser may also know that there's an ongoing investigation in her police department over the potentially manipulation of those statistics, that there have been a downclassing of some of the crimes. There's been a massaging of the numbers and the reporting in order to fit them more beneficially into the FBI crime stats. So she may know some things that National Democrats are not paying attention to.
Yep, that clip was entirely true. I actually had to do a little digging for myself to see, and I found an article that, lays this out very clear for us, with the DC police commander being placed on leave for changing crime stats. We got this headline here from Washington News 4, said the DC police commander was suspended, accused of changing crime statistics, and actually found a video clip that dives a little bit deeper into it. Check it out.
The DC Police Union is putting its allegations on the record tonight, claiming police supervisors in the department are manipulating crime data to make it appear violent crime has fallen considerably when compared to last year. As of today, according to the DC Police website, crime is down 25%, a decrease the chairman of the police union calls preposterous. The union's allegations come as the former commander of the 3rd District stands accused of doing what the union says is being done day in and day out.
To areas where we know that
That's Michael Pulliam standing with the chief of police at a recent news conference. At the time, he was the commander of the 3rd District, which patrols the neighborhoods of Adams Morgan and Columbia Heights. In early May, 5 law enforcement sources familiar with the investigation tell News 4 Pulliam was placed on administrative leave with pay and told he was under investigation for questionable changes to crime data. A move that came just about a week after he filed an EEOC complaint against Executive Assistant Chief of Police Andre Wright, according to 3 law enforcement sources familiar with the complaint. The reasons for that later in this story. News 4 reached out to Commander Pulliam for comment. He denied the allegations against him and referred us to the public information officer. As for the union's allegations, Chairman Greg Pemberton laid it all on the table.
When our members respond to the scene of a felony offense where there is a victim reporting that a felony occurred, inevitably there will be a lieutenant or a captain that will show up on that scene and direct those members to take a report for a lesser offense. So instead of taking a report for a shooting or a stabbing or a carjacking, they will order that officer to take a report for a theft or an injured person to the hospital or a felony assault, which is not the same type of classification.
And that there is the facts of the matter, very briefly laid out. We can clearly see why the crime stats aren't reflecting what residents of DC are feeling. There has been an influx in violent crimes, but yet they're rigging the stats. They're reporting these lesser offenses in order to make it seem like crime is going down in DC. And I found another clip that was very interesting. This is of that Mayor Bowser once again directly going against refuting her claims that crime is down. She's offering AirTags, Apple AirTags, which is like a tracking device to everyone, residents of DC that are in areas that are seeing a rise in car thefts. I want you guys to see this. If crime is down in your city, you would not need to be offering out free air tags for carjackings.
Because the chief had another very good idea, and that is to give out free tracking tags, most commonly known as Apple Air Tags or tiles, to residents in some communities where we're seeing the highest amounts of motor vehicle theft. And these tags and tiles will help MPD recover stolen vehicles and hold people accountable. The word will also get out that this is not a community to come in and steal cars, because it won't be.
So you say crime is down in your city, everything is under control, but yet you're having to offer free tracking device to all your residents to try and combat the rising car thefts. It just doesn't make sense. But instead of owning up in typical Democratic fashion, we got that mayor playing that racy card or trying to race bait once again. Look at this.
One of the things that we have seen over and over from the president, from his team, Stephen Miller saying it's like Baghdad in Ethiopia. They seem to hold their harshest criticism sometimes for cities that are majority black and brown. Do you see that, and what do you think that means?
I think that I have been dealing kind of with this issue for a number of years. It's kind of easy fodder on the campaign trail, but now we're talking about governing, and my job is to focus on making sure our city is running well, and people enjoy a great quality of life.
No one's surprised. The mayor's response right there, run into that race card. That's what they do when they know they just are not making sense. That's their only excuse to say why they're going against or trying to combat Trump's administration or Trump's agenda of his administration. And this has been shown from the get-go. I actually found a clip of the mayor visibly uncomfortable in her spot. You can see the way that she just is squirming, can't sit still when President Donald Trump talks about his successes, his victories.
So they came in by the millions illegally into our country. They just flowed in through an open border policy that was insane. And what we've done is we've offered, the numbers, but because we're taking them out by the thousands, we're being obstructed. It's very unfair what's happening because the court system it's very unfair. We have to get them out fast. These are bad people. These are people that are killing, and they've already killed many people in this country. The illegal immigrants that came in illegally through an open border policy, which is insane. We talk about common sense. That's not common sense. And they came in from the Congo, all over Africa, all over Asia, all over South America, parts of Europe. They flowed in and just walked right into our country. We had no idea who they were. 21 million at least. That's probably a low number. You hear lower numbers than that. It's not. That's a low number. But many are really serious.
And it definitely does not take a body language expert to analyze and see what was going on in that last clip. You could see that the Mayor Bowser was visibly uncomfortable, and it got underneath her skin to hear President Donald Trump listing off the great successes of his second term administration and thus far. And then we got Mayor Muriel Bowser taking to X and trying to further gaslight the people, saying that Washington, D.C. is a beautiful city. DC is home to 700,000 people and welcomes millions every year. We have the #1 park system, fantastic public schools, and a tremendous public transportation system. And we are at a 30-year low in violent crime. It is important for all who live here and visit to know how beautiful our city is and how proud we are of all that we've accomplished. Very interesting right here. The 30-year low, I actually seen a comparison, a chart, and their violent crime rate was higher than some in active war zones in foreign countries. It actually blew my mind to see that, yet they're trying to beg to differ and argue that Trump's his latest declaration of a public safety emergency was not needed, that DC was all right in terms of crime. And I want to take a very quick moment to switch gears a little bit and shine light on the DC mayor, Mayor Bowser, being caught in a massive scandal not too long ago. I want you guys to see the corruption that she's found herself in the center of, aside from this whole fighting the Trump administration on the public safety emergency declaration, deploying the military, and federalizing local law enforcement. I want you to see what she's got herself involved in.
Who is paying for D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser's trips around the world? We've been asking that question for months now and have gotten different answers from the mayor's office.
Now, I-Team reporter Scott Taylor has uncovered the nation of Qatar paid for the mayor and 4 staff members to travel to its country. This was in 2023. Scott, what else are we learning about where this money came from?
Well, we're talking about a lot of money, Michelle, almost $62,000. We discovered that from a letter from the Embassy of Qatar to the mayor's office. The mayor's office told us twice who paid for the trip, and both times what they said just wasn't true. D.C. tells 7 News it doesn't have any travel expense records filed by D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser for trips to the Masters Golf Tournament, Las Vegas, Dubai, Miami, or Mar-a-Lago. All trips taken within the past 3 years. In December 2023, Bowser and 4 staff members, including her chief of staff, Lindsey Parker, took a trip to Doha, Qatar. They attended the United Nations Climate Conference in Dubai. Only 2 travel expense records have been filed. Parker appears to be doing what's required by D.C. code, but it's not cheap. She cost taxpayers $3,500 for a 3-night stay at the Atlantis Palm Hotel in Dubai. A 2-night stay at the Aloft Hotel in Dubai for $1,300 was also filed by Thomas Delamonte, D.C.'s Director of Intergovernmental Affairs. Last year, Susana Castillo, the mayor's director of communications, gave 7 News wrong information twice on who paid for the Dubai trip. She claimed D.C.'s Chamber of Commerce paid for it. Not true. And then she said U.S. Conference of Mayors picked up the bill. I just discovered that is also not true. This letter from the Embassy of Qatar to the executive office of the mayor says Qatar paid more than $61,000 for the entire trip and called it an in-kind donation. D.C. has no record of a donation agreement between the district and Qatar for the trip, which is required by D.C. code. Parker also flew last May to Las Vegas to attend the International Council of Shopping Centers convention along with Bowser. Parker flew first class and cost taxpayers $4,500. She stayed at the Wynd Hotel and Casino 3 nights, costing taxpayers $1,500. What about the mayor? She has filed no travel expense records for her Vegas trip, saying it was paid by Washington, D.C. Economic Partnership and 2 D.C. government departments. Well, so far, no answer from the mayor's office to our 9 questions we sent that office 6 days ago. 7 News would like to know, how can any big city mayor fly all over the world on official business and not keep clear records of who paid for it? I guess in the district, Mayor Bowser can get away with it.
I will say I briefly looked in that situation. I found that clip very tip of the iceberg. I'll do a little bit more digging on the back end to see if this one should be under investigation. But I want to end it here with this one. This is Judge Janine absolutely going scorched earth on the crime in D.C. and how they're going to clean it up. Check her out.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Madam Attorney General, and to all my partners here. We all want the same thing. We all want a safe city. We want a safe capital. We want to be able to bring our families here. We want to be able to come and enjoy the history that makes this place great. And unfortunately, we are not in that position right now. And Mr. President, I want to thank you for taking the step that we need right now to make criminals understand that they are not going to get away with it anymore. And I'm not going to stand here and go over and over the cases. But what I can tell you is this. I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest, intent to kill, I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college. We need to go after the D.C. Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens. And it starts today. But it's not going to end today, because the president is going to do everything we need to do to make sure that these emboldened criminals understand we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Seems like Trump just cannot get a break. If it's not these whack job activist judges trying to block him across the nation, it's these rogue Democratic officials. Now we've got the mayor of DC stepping in and saying what Donald Trump is doing is illegal, it's unconstitutional, and she wants him to stop it. But what he's doing is cleaning up crime in her city, a responsibility that falls under her jurisdiction as the mayor. But yet Donald Trump, the president, has to step in and do her job. I don't even know how she got to that seat. Man, this makes absolutely no sense. The people elected her, voted her in to protect and serve, to clean up the streets of DC, yet she feels the need to try to come after and attack President Donald Trump when he does her job. Absolutely insane to see. Hopefully they do continue to follow up that investigation on the matter into her corruption, enriching herself, taking these lavish trips through her public servant office as mayor of DC. We're seeing her taking trips to Qatar, taking trips to Las Vegas, Miami, you name it. She is having a good time, and it's all on the taxpayers' dime. Hopefully President Donald Trump, his administration, takes a further look into this and gets her off their back for the time being. But guys, definitely hop in that comment section. Comments are open, and I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. I also want to address a comment that I've been getting a lot on the titles, on the headlines, the thumbnails. I just want you guys to know it is in that structured in that format by my team, in order to kind of bring more attention from folks on the left. We're open to everyone over here. Unlike these folks on the left, we're open to all different viewpoints, all different opinions. But I feel like you guys know how we break it down. My true supporters, folks that have been here since the beginning, know that I always bring the truth, always, shine a rational light when I give my opinion. And I feel like we could turn a few folks, have them come across that aisle if they, get a little bit more coverage or see someone who has a rational opinion, a rational take on these things. So it is structured in that way so that folks will come over here and they'll see and they'll be woken up to the truth, guys. But definitely out in the comment section, continue letting folks know if you do see them complaining about titles or thumbnails, just let them know it's like that for a reason. We want Democrats to feel like they should come over here and see what's going on and then wake up and see the truth. But guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next week.